Mob. We are back for another episode, a meat and potatoes episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, you just see a lot of slits for eyes. A lot of slits for eyes. It is 3:20 in the morning. Eastern Standard Time, -5 GMT. You like that?
I like it. That was nice.
That was pretty solid. Yeah, I'm going out of town this weekend, so I thought we could either take this weekend off. No, we're up at 3:20 a.m. getting it in because not only do you have just wells of fantasy knowledge between the three of us, you have three attentive fathers. And we're there for our kids. It's the usual suspects. We got Goni. How you doing, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
And we got I'm swell, tired, and we got Begley. What's up, brother?
What's up, bro? I'm gonna be shedding clothing and crawling into some pajamas while this episode's going on.
All right, another YouTube episode, huh? We are back to the video call, so the audio should be a little bit better. I apologize for the issues we had last time. It was our first in person. Let's give us a little bit of a break. Growing pains. We'll figure it out. This episode, we are doing, I don't know, what do you want to, I don't want to call it hot takes because that's like a separate segment we do. This is like
late round value.
Late round value?
Round, bro, give them some Boeings.
Man, I tell you what, Goni. Late round flyers. And these are guys that we think you should pick out like when you've got all the guys that you've been going for. You know, you got the meat of your lineup and you're just going to the end of the draft and you're just wanting to throw a dart because you're comfortable with what you got. We got it right here. And granted, there are a few guys. I think I had a guy, one of my guys, the ADP was like 10.2. I think he was the highest for me. So some of them are going to be drafted, but pretty much all of these guys, I know I speak for myself. I don't want to speak for you all because I don't know who you have. I don't think anybody's ADP that we have. We all chose 6 guys. I don't think anybody's ADP was in single digits, right?
I had 8th round. I had a couple eight rounders.
Wow.
Maybe 2.
Man.
He's got a couple of meat on his bones.
So
over there.
no wonder he called them late round values because he's not picking flyers.
They're starters, bro.
They're starters. A guy in your 8th round isn't going to be a starter on your team every week. Let's be real.
Wow.
All right,
but these diamonds in the rough could be.
Let me just tell you, Matt, we are doing this from a redraft perspective, correct?
Correct.
A redraft perspective. Like I said, my best guy his ADP was 10.2. I got a few non-drafted people in here, but I guess I just grinded a little bit more homework than Goni did, which is fine.
It's got the assignment.
Grinded some homework, all right.
Yeah. No big deal. It's fine. Some of us do more work than others, and that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Gon could give you a nice RB2 right here. So take notes.
Yeah. He's like mixing up, his RB2 and WR2 rankings. Pretty excited to hear what he has to say about the players that we've pretty much already talked about.
I wonder if he'll bring up Devontae Adams as a late round flyer.
I know.
That's your boy, man. You love Devontae.
That is true. That's all I'm saying. You faded him all the way back to a late round flyer.
It's great value then if you get him in the late rounds, isn't it?
You know what?
Ching.
I hate this because Goni's got a better shot at being right, but that's only because he's picking starters. That just doesn't make any sense. So,
whatever, man.
So Mad Mob, we're getting you're getting late round flyers from me and Beggs. You're getting middle of the pack guys from Goni, I guess. So
late round flyers.
Listen, I'm going to preface this. I don't want anybody listening to be caught by surprise. I got the soundboard going. We got a few sound effects. You might hear them, you might not. Because this isn't going to be, I don't want to be one of these like, like joking ones. I'm only going to use it when they're relevant.
Tasteful.
It's tasteful. I'm not gonna absolutely blow your ears out with just the most random sounds. But just know they're there, and they're going to be coming at you. I feel like I should have one for Goni, but for Goni right now, just absolutely screwing the pooch on his rankings. But I'll just whatever.
They love to hate. They love to hate, Mad Mob. They love to hate.
All right. I've done the intro. They've heard my voice for about 4 minutes, my raspy, tired voice. I kind of like it, though. It's a nice baritone. Anyways, yeah, so we all got 6 guys. Well, how do y'all want to do this? You just want to each do one person and bang, 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 and then the second? Or do you want, me to say 6 and Bex to say... I think we should
Get a
say...
rotation in.
Let's get a nice rotation. Okay.
A little rotation.
They're tired of hearing me. We'll start with Beggs.
All right, my first one. I've got a running back. His ADP is 129, and that is Dameon Pierce. I like Dameon Pierce. I drafted him in rookie drafts. Actually, was it a week ago at the 1.12. I think he's absolutely going to win the Texans' backfield by the end of the year. I loved him at Florida. He just didn't quite get the ball enough. He's got decent draft capital. It's not great. 3rd-round pick by the Texans, but bad offenses can produce good running backs, right? You had DeAndre Swift and the Lions. Last year the Steelers were bottom 10 offense. They produced Najee, the Bears, Montgomery, the Dolphins, Gaskin. James Robinson 2 years ago. Cordell Patterson on the Falcons last year. So I'm taking a guy who's going to get a lot of volume on a horrific offense. I expect him to win the job by the end of the year.
It's not a tough one to win. I just don't like that offense, man.
And it's really utilization. If he's getting 100% of the snaps, or 80s, 90s, something like that, then if he's talented, he might be able to put up a season like a James Robinson or Myles Gaskin a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the SEC pedigree. Marlon Mack, we really haven't seen what he can do since he tore his ACL 2 years ago. So you don't really know what you get with Marlon Mack. Achilles, thank you.
Your dreaded injury.
Exactly. I mean, they don't come back. And then, you got Rex Burkhead, who I think is, 33 years old now? So, I mean, the competition is weak for sure.
He's another guy that seems like he's a million years old.
Yeah, dude, so the only thing that kills me is he's on a third team, which I get is one of his upsides, but it's just a terrible offensive line. It's garbage.
No doubt. I mean, but he just didn't get on the field a lot at Florida, so I think he's got a lot in the tank. He doesn't have a lot of hits on the body. He's going to be the starting running back for the Texans by about the midpoint in the year, I think.
I can see it.
Fair enough.
I can see it. That's a solid thought. And I'm trying to like reel myself back off talking trash on anybody because these are late round flyers, and he's right. I think Dameon Pierce is in a terrible situation as far as the team and the offensive line he's behind, but Begley's right. He's got a clear path to RB1, and an RB1 for any team, no matter how garbage, deserves a roster spot, in my opinion.
Agree.
All right, so that is Beg's first guy. Goni, who you got?
My first pick here is going to be Devin Singletary, running back for the Bills. He's currently going in the back of the 8th round as the RB 32. He's going around guys like Tony Pollard, Chase Edmonds, and his teammate James Cook, which I thought was a little weird that their ADP was close. Would you guys rather have a Singletary or James Cook this year?
It's Cook.
Really?
I'd rather take the RB1 on the depth chart.
The RB1. I mean,
give me the RB1. Give me the late round flyer, the RB1.
Zach Moss. Zach Moss is kind of, I feel like, going to get phased out. James Cook,
right.
they're a Super Bowl contending team. They're not going to hand the reins over to a rookie.
Agreed. So give me the RB1 on the high-powered offense where he's got a clear role to be the RB1 workhorse. It's a good pick, man.
Who, James Cook?
No, Devin Singletary.
I mean, he's the RB 32. He's the RB 32, man, in the ADP. I highly, highly think he's going to beat that out. I think he can be a back end running back 2. He had a bad stretch from week 3 to week 13 where he only scored double digits twice.
Hang on a second. He had a bad stretch for 11 weeks.
He did, but you want to know why? His snap share was down in the 30s and 40s, bro. 30s and 40s.
Okay.
He had a bad.
Okay, so Goni.
Yeah.
Listen.
What are you gonna do with 30? What are you gonna do with 30 and 40 8% snap share.
God, he had a bad stretch for 80% of the year, man.
So let me get to the point here for you.
I'm so
Poo-poo
sorry.
all over.
It's 4 in the morning. It really tickled
They
me.
weren't.
Hang on.
They weren't giving him the ball. All right, they weren't giving him the ball. He wasn't on the field. After that, he tore it up to close out the season. He put up 15, 16, 19, 23, and 25 to claim the RB20 spot. During that time frame, he averaged about 80% snap share. So when he's on the field and when they feed him, he produces. I'm not worried about James Cook. The offense is elite. Josh Allen is elite. The chains are going to keep on moving. And I think for where you can get him in the back of the 8th round, he has excellent value to be a back-end RB2 this year.
Who did you say was around him ADP-wise?
Tony Pollard, Chase Edmonds, and James Cook.
My problem with Singletary is, as a Zach Moss owner, Zach Moss got hurt last year. I think week 13. Yes, week 13. He really got hurt week 12, tried to come back early and couldn't. So that's really when Singletary took off. Everybody's healthy. And Cook, I think, has better hands, right? He's a better pass catcher.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does that worry you a little bit at PPR?
No, because Singletary was getting like 20 opportunities a game, and a lot of them were carries. 18, 19 carry games. He's putting up big numbers. He scored a bunch of touchdowns during the end of the year. And, I mean, Zach Moss hasn't done anything to really scare you or give any reason to give him the ball, honestly. So, I mean, I could see James Cook being the third down and passing back, but I think that they stick with Singletary as the first and second down and the goal line back this year.
Fair enough.
Okay.
What you got, Wayne?
Late round flyer in the 8th. I've got. Shut up, Begley. Just stop it.
Dude, when Goni said he had a bad year, I fell out of my chair, man.
All right. Well, my late round flyer is not nearly as good as Goni's because mine is in fact a late round flyer. No offense.
It's only 16 rounds. Like, how far back you going?
Is 8 out of 16? That's a mid draft flyer, right? Like exactly mid.
When you look at 8th, do you not already have your roster set, your starter set? Man, he's thinking hard about this one. Holy crap!
Eight's when you start considering Kyler Murray. No,
Kyler Murray's like a 4th, 5th round guy, man.
Well, I'm just saying.
Well, it depends. If it's like a super flex, then no, you don't have your starters ready, right? Because if you got your tight ends, your defense.
Okay, but how many super flexes do you play in? How many super flexes are you playing, man?
One.
Whatever, man. We're not doing a super flex here. Otherwise, I would have thrown some quarterbacks in.
Some quarterbacks. I threw a quarterback in.
Wayne, what if it's an IDP tight end premium league? I don't think you said it 8.
Shut up. Well, I wasn't going to start with this one, but because it segues perfectly, I got a quarterback, Jameis Winston.
Hell, let's go.
Jameis Winston. His last full season happened to be for the Buccaneers, obviously. He threw for over 5,100 yards and 33 touchdowns. He coupled that with a spicy 30 interceptions. I get, but he was still a top-tier fantasy quarterback with his 5,100 yards and 33 tutties. I mean, his issue is obviously turning the ball over, but last year in the 7 games that he played for New Orleans, he had the second-best QBR of his entire career. And then you couple him finally getting the reins to a team from start to finish. Well, we'll see finish. From the start, he's handling this offseason as the QB1 for the Saints, and then with that they go out and they spend good draft capital on Chris Olave. They go and they get a good, in my opinion, a very underrated receiver in Jarvis Landry, and he's going to get Michael Thomas back. So he's got low key one of the best wide receiver cores in the NFL.
Is he going to get Michael Thomas back though?
I don't know if he's going to get it at the beginning of the year. He'll be there. I think he plays this year. I think he plays over half the year.
That's fair. I mean, I don't have anything to go against you on it. I wish it did, but Michael Thomas has just been known for not suiting up for football games
Yeah, but
recently.
even then, Chris Olave and Jarvis Landry, that's a pretty good duo. Obviously, I don't want to put too much stock in a rookie because you just never know with rookies, but he fits the bill to be successful early on.
and it's way better than last year. That's a
and-
monster upgrade from last year's wide receiver core.
Exactly. So they know that Jameis is their QB1 right now, and they went out and got receivers for him. So they're invested in his success. And Jameis got chip on his shoulder. I think he does great. He's got that fancy new LASIK 2020. I think he's
Long overdue.
I think he's got a great clear path to be a QB 12.
Do the Saints going Wayne over under Saints 8 wins?
I'd say they're about there. I mean,
It's over under. Yeah. Which one?
I'm push.
You
The
can't
only
come on, bro.
the only reason I'd say over is because they can, if Christian McCaffrey isn't playing, the Panthers are a sweep. You know,
I'll give them over.
Ooh.
Their defense is excellent. It has been excellent the last few years. And
they're in the
the
NFC.
only thing that what's that?
They're in the NFC. I mean,
They're in the NFC, which is weak, which we've established before. But
right.
also the other thing, it kind of goes against Wayne's thing of I can't see him getting to QB 12. I respect the opinion. I see the pathway to get there. But Jameis last year, he had the second best QBR of his career or best? Second best QBR of his career, but I strongly believe it's because they limited him. They didn't let him throw a whole lot. He was very efficient with his throws when he did it. So he only threw the ball over 30 times twice in 2 games last year. So I think they limit him. They don't want the ball in his hands a whole lot so he doesn't force turnovers, make mistakes. I think it's going to be a very grinded out kind of offense.
Why would they go out and spend high draft capital on a receiver and then go out and get a receiver like Jarvis Landry if they were still going to limit Jameis Winston? Wouldn't Jarvis Landry suffice, or just Chris Olave suffice if they just planned on limiting him? Why spend high draft capital and get a solid receiver if you're just going to do what you did last year with him? Because he was obviously successful with nothing last year, so why go get 2 good wide receivers?
3 reasons. Lil Jordan Humphrey, Marquez Callaway, Deontay Harris. That's not going to cut it regardless. Of course you restock the wide receiver room.
But if they're going to limit him anyways, then what's it matter? I mean, why don't me, you, and Beggs line up if he's going to be limited? He had
Those guys just aren't good enough.
He had the second best QBR of his career passing to those guys. Why wouldn't they just be like, "Oh, just do it again. We'll have the same limitations on you."
Come on, man.
Come on. In all honesty, why go get both of them?
Because those guys aren't good enough. Just plain and simple.
It was good enough to get
I
him the second best QBR of his career. No.
Yeah, because he's throwing the ball 20 times, 22 times, 21 times.
And you're
23
saying they're
times.
going to do that again with him. You're saying they're going to do that again.
Yeah.
So why?
Yeah.
What's the purpose of he did it just fine with them last year?
Because the efficiency probably isn't going to be there again.
Why?
With guys like that.
The efficiency was there last year?
I'll say,
Bro, okay. Just because Peyton Manning threw for 5,600 yards one year means he can do it every year, right?
No, I mean, the QBR he got was the second best of his career. It's definitely repeatable. It's not like he set the world on fire. It's just the second best QBR of his career.
let me throw a counterpoint in here. How much do you have to factor in Sean Payton and Sean Payton leaving?
That's a
You
big
know what I
deal.
mean?
He's a top coach in the league. I mean, it's a big
I'm not
deal.
choosing a side here, but I'm just saying it's something that's a factor here, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I think so.
You can't
Also.
call losing Sean Payton a non-factor.
Yeah.
I also see the pathway, though. I'm not trying to like completely dog your pick. I see a pathway where he gets to QB 12. If he keeps the efficiency that he had,
I could
100%. Like
I could have taken the Goney route and picked like Dak Prescott as my late round flyer, but I didn't. I just picked Jameis Winston, so
good.
that's my fault.
you can only get him so late. So
All right. So round one we had Who'd you have? Bex?
I had Damian Pierce.
Damian
that's
Pierce.
That's a late round flyer right there.
That's a
man.
late round flyer. We had the Bills RB1 Devin Singletary from Goni, and we had Jameis Winston from me. Let's go round the horn again, Beggs. Who's your number 2? I can't wait to hear Goni's.
So if you guys had the Saints at 9 wins, does 9 wins get you the NFC wildcard this year?
Ooh,
Potentially on a tiebreaker because the NFC is weak.
NFC's weak, boy, very weak.
Weak.
9 wins can definitely get you a wild card. I agree.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna piggyback off Wayne, and I'm gonna go with Jarvis Landry. His ADP is 137, which is criminal. You know, we were talking before the episode, and you know he's kind of like in the mold of another guy, Jamison Crowder. He feels like he should be about 33, but he's only 29, back end of his prime, but he's still got a lot in the tank. He hasn't finished below a wide receiver 3 since his rookie year, with the exception being last year he only played 12 games.
Good stat.
Yeah, man. I mean,
solid. Okay.
He's consistent. This guy's consistent, man, and he's going in the 13th round, which is criminal. I do think the Saints are a potential wildcard team. I agree with you guys. You can't count on Michael Thomas getting on the field, like Goni said.
Well, I agree with that as well.
Olave, he's a rookie, man. He played Ohio State for 4 years. Usually those kind of guys don't profile too well. We'll see. I like Jarvis. I think he's Jameis's main target. And actually, there's a lot of stuff coming on OTAs that those two guys have a pretty nice rapport already.
I have a question for you also on that. Do you think the Saints think that Michael Thomas is going to play this year? Just because if you do and if they do, is it not a little weird that they essentially they bring in Jarvis Landry, who is the same guy as Michael Thomas as far as a player goes, just possession guys? They don't stretch the field. They're not burners. They're just possession guys. And I just don't know why you would get 2 of them, on opposite ends. That's all. So do you think Michael Thomas plays because of that?
What's his contract like? Because, I mean, why haven't the Saints? I mean, if I'm the Saints, are you not trying to dangle him in front of another team somewhere?
Right? They should have did that last year, I feel like, when they were going through everything. Just get a pick. Get something, man. Like,
Michael Thomas is locked in through the 2024 season. He's got option through 2026 and an official unrestricted free agent in 2025. I think he has. I think he'll probably miss sometime this year. But
do we know why? Is it injury related or is it
I think it's his ankle. But just Goni's, just to go against me and Goni are just on. We just have different mindsets with this. He believes how he believes, and I believe how I believe, and no amount of arguing will fix it. He thinks that they went out and got these people because Michael Thomas isn't playing. I think they went out and got these people because they feel like Jameis Winston can be successful for them, so they went and got them weapons. So that's just kind of a agree to disagree type of situation when it comes to Jameis Winston and Chris Olave. Yeah.
Is there a big market out there for receivers who punch their teammates in the face during practice? Because if so, this guy's got to get traded. He needs a fresh start, man.
I mean, Kadarius Toney. Well, no, he didn't punch a teammate in the face. He just punched another face.
LeGarrette Blount had a very successful career after punching a teammate in the face.
That's what I'm saying, man. Ship this guy, get him a new landscape, give him a fresh start. He might be all right.
He's getting old, man. They lost so much value on him.
They got to get another good year out of him, and that's why I think he's going to play. That's in the same thing with Michael Thomas. He knows if he wants another spicy contract, he's got to get on the field. And he's 29, so he can realistically, when his contract is up, we'll say when he's 30, 31, they obviously probably will just cut ties before the 2025 season when he's officially an unrestricted free agent.
I wish Dallas would throw like a 6th-round pick at him.
It might do, man. Hit up Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Hotline.
But that would be an underpay for him, honestly, or maybe even, and the Cowboys don't like to do that.
For sure.
All right, Goni, round 2. Chris Olave or Jarvis Landry. I like that one. That's pretty solid. Goni, who you got?
Boys, on this one, I stayed on the running back route, and I actually took Melvin Gordon for this one. He's going in the back of the 9th, early 10th. That's a far cry for a running back. All right, RB 37. Other running backs in his range: Michael Carter, Rashad Penny, James Robinson, Isaiah Spiller. Did any of those sound good to you?
I love Michael Carter.
Over Melvin Gordon? You'd rather have him over Melvin Gordon?
No.
Fair
I
enough.
I like Melvin of all the names for sure.
He finished as the RB22 in a timeshare with Javonte, as you boys know. I stated in previous podcasts that I think the timeshare shifts more in Javonte's favor this year as they kind of groom him to take over. I think Javonte is the 1A and Melvin will be the 1B this year. But as we've talked about also, Russell Wilson is in town. The offense is going to get better. I mean, Melvin Gordon costs you almost nothing in the 9th or 10th round. He offers you a handcuff if you have Javonte. He's also got standalone value where you can play him in the flex if you need to. So he's got back-end RB2 potential. And if Javonte goes down, he's probably got back-end RB1 potential in that offense. So, I mean, I like him. I like him over, Chase Claypool's also there in that round, Christian Watson, Robert Woods, and Mike Gesicki. I'd rather take Melvin Gordon over any of those guys for the upside.
I would too, man. His utility really surprised me last year. He was a good player. He was very solid.
Even as he's getting older, he's shown previously that he can catch out of the backfield when needed. He's still a good runner. He breaks tackles. He's got some good burst to him, and the Broncos just have a good offense. They have a great run game before Russ got there. And so, he can be effective. And like I said, if Javonte goes down, he could be a league winner for you if Javonte was to go down.
I don't hate it. Javonte just took a lot of the passing work from him last year. That kind of caps his potential. But I like the pick. What do you think, Wayne?
Yeah, give me a guy that rushes for over 200, almost 1,000 yards, and top 10 in touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's not a bad late round flyer. Be top 10 tutties with almost 1,000 yards. Same situation, just a better quarterback. So, I don't see him getting any worse.
No. We'll see. Like I said, I think he gives more of the workload to Javonte, but the standalone value is there. You can flex him week in and week out and see what comes of it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. All right. Who do I want to do next? Got Jameis out of the way. I'm kind of glad I got Jameis out of the way. I didn't want to save him for last.
You've been dying to talk to Jameis.
Yeah, I know. I should have saved him for last, shouldn't I? That's fine.
That Homer love right there.
Yeah, he didn't do anything for us, but he wasn't terrible for us, so I respect him. We ate a few dubs on his watch.
Mm-hmm.
Not many.
Not a lot, but a few. Literally a few dubs.
It was like a kid's meal.
Yeah, we weren't. It wasn't a buffet of dubs, but it was a dub here and there. All right, I'm gonna go with. This is gonna mess me all up. I'm bouncing all over this page. I'm gonna go with Tyler Algier now. We'll go with him, right? Listen, he's got a clear path to be the number one. He's not now, obviously. Cordarrelle Patterson is there. I'm just looking at this guy. I'm looking at this guy's college stats. This man set the world on fire in 2020 and 2021. He was in 2020, he averaged like 7.5 yards per carry. Yeah, this man was a monster in college. The Falcons got an absolute beast in him. He's stout, man. 5'11", 220. I just think that with the Falcons quarterback situation being as shaky as it is, they're going to have to establish the run. Cordarrelle Patterson has the talent. I just think he's getting kind of old, and he's going to need some help. So Cordarrelle Patterson, I feel like, is going to be doing a lot of motion stuff, going here and there, just like he did last year, just a utility guy. And that gives Tyler Algier more time on the field right away. If he can even replicate 30% of what he did in college, he will see a lot of work on the field, in my opinion. He's got a clear path to the number one. They've got so many sketchy spots all across the field on that offense that if Tyler Algier is successful and with his opportunities that he's going to get, then they can use Cordarrelle Patterson in other spots. And when you have an offense as slim as they have, in an athlete like Cordarrelle Patterson, you're gonna you're gonna keep Cordarrelle on the field as much as possible. But if you can move him around more and utilize Tyler Algier, you have to. I think he's just got a clear path to number one, and that's on top of it. Patterson's what, 30?
Yeah, he's pushed.
31. This is going to be his age 31 season.
31. I mean, he's a geezer in football terms. So he's a clear path to number one. I think he's a great late round flyer this year and just a phenomenal pick in dynasty leagues right now. But for redraft, he's got a clear path to number one on a shaky offense, mind you. But I said it at the beginning of this episode, and I'll say it every time I talk about any running back. If it's an RB1 on their team, they deserve a roster spot. That's just how I am with him.
Wayne, I like the pick there, man. Cordarrelle Patterson, I don't think we see what we saw out of him last year. Like you said, he's going into his age 31 season. His value didn't really come from the running game last year. Yeah. Sure, he took some carries, but he caught a lot of passes. So who's to say that Algier doesn't just come in and, he's going to have to get his reps in and get acclimated to the game. But by the end of the season, we could see him as the first and second down running back, maybe the goal line guy, and then Patterson's relegated to third down duties, passing situations, things like that. Plus Marcus Mariota, I don't really think he usually has the ability to pass to the running back as much. So
right.
The Falcons also have an out after this year. They're only paying him $1.25 million, Patterson, that is. Next year it's $4.25 million. So if they like what they see out of Algier, then they could just cut ties with Patterson altogether. My only thing is just historically, his draft capital is he's a 5th round pick. Yeah. There's not a lot of guys that come out of the 5th round, but I mean, for as late as you're going to be picking him in a redraft or even a dynasty, I love the shot. I love the upside. Good pick.
I love it too. I watched him play Utah State in a game last year. I don't know what I was doing awake that late, but that guy's he's a monster, man. He runs hard. He's powerful. And I think that's kind of going to be what's needed with the Falcons' offensive line. They're going to be absolutely awful. So he's going to need to at least break a few arm tackles, fight through contact quite a bit. I like the pick, man. I mean, he's replacing Mike Davis, which is big shoes to fill on that offense.
His favorite player in the game. Well, one of his many favorites.
All right. Beggs, you're up again, my guy, for your third late round flyer. Who you got?
Man, I'm going deep in the bowels of the draft for this one.
I love it.
His ADP is 184.
That's what I like to hear.
This is a true late round flyer.
Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood Brown, also known as the wide receiver 13 this year.
Jamison Crowder, 184 ADP. As I mentioned before, he's a guy that you feel like should be 35. He's 29. He's still kind of in the midst of his prime. Cole Beasley leaves behind 112 targets. If you look at Beasley's 3 years in Buffalo, he had 106, 107, 112 targets. I'm not sure who takes those targets from the slot. I mean, he's going to be a day one starter in between Diggs and Gabe Davis. To me, there's an easy path to 90-plus target. I think it's 90-plus targets is a lock. I think he's more talented than Cole Beasley. Historically, he has a little more red zone success. And you really haven't seen him with a good quarterback on a good offense. And he's still been probably the best Jets receiver last decade. Is that fair to say?
It's fair. It's fair to say. There's not very many relevant ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see. It's kind of a gut feeling. There's volume here. It's a big volume play. Not 90 targets is a lock for Jameson. What do y'all think?
Bro, I just did the math on it, and that ADP that you said or whatever it was, 15th, 16th round. I love that. That's great for that. That costs you nothing. This is like last pick in the draft material.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can afford to definitely throw it away. I don't hate it. We saw what Cole Beasley could do when he was playing in the slot. So I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah, it's a high-powered offense. Josh
Yeah.
Allen's going to sling the rock. The Bills are going to be very successful offensively, and it cannot be on the back of two receivers. And at the end of the day, I love Gabe Davis. We all know Goni loves Gabe Davis.
Oh man.
But Jamison Crowder might creep up to that WR2 status. I mean, I really thought whenever you told me he was 29, I was like, no, he's like 49. He's only 29. He's the only thing with he's on the smaller side.
Very little.
But man, I'm glad you brought him up because he like just faded off into memory. Like you just don't think of him. Like, and I guess it was because he was in the bowels of Washington and then he was in the bowels of New York. This is literally his first good team that he's been on. First good offense, first good quarterback. You got to think the man's excited. You got to think he's going to up his game.
Yeah. I think so.
I love that. I love that pick.
I do too. These older slot guys, man, they just seem to be able to fit in on any team pretty seamlessly. Quarterbacks just seem to develop a rapport.
And Dawson Knox being there, yeah, I mean, you got to respect it. And the Bills went out and got O.J. Howard, my boy O.J.
Yeah, Bills look all right, man. They did lose their OC, but to the Giants. But I mean, Bills are gonna be good. Not as good as the Raiders, but they're gonna be good this year.
Man, I'm sure OJ got to Buffalo and just took a nice breath of fresh air and thought, man, what another beautiful city for me to tear my tendons and ligaments in.
It was a good name that I threw out. All right, I love Jamison Crowder. That's a good one. Goni, what you got for us?
I mean, I feel like the timing was perfect on that, Beggs. You got yours in right before I got mine in. Probably going to lose a little bit of luster because of where you're going to take him, but we all know, boys, Gabe Davis. I'm on the Gabe Davis train. If you've been following along with us on these shows, Mad Mob, you saw this one coming a mile away. If you're brand new to the show, welcome. My name is Matt Fulgoni, also known as Goni or Gone. And I am the conductor of the Gabe Davis hype train. I drive the bandwagon, man. Hop on, ride with me.
What do they say? The first step to solving a problem is acknowledging that you have a problem.
Man, I'm getting Gabe Davis everywhere I can right now in all drafts. He's going at the end of the 8th, beginning of the 9th as the wide receiver 43. He's got he's built. He's huge. He's 6'2". He's 210 pounds. He's got great speed. He's got the clear number 2 role in the offense. Nobody's challenging him. Nobody's challenging him for that number 2 role. Not Jamison Crowder, not Isaiah McKenzie, not anyone, the guy that they drafted in like the 5th round. Not worried about it. They cleared house on Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley. Like I mentioned to you, they would, Beggs, last year. They did it. He plays an elite offense with an elite quarterback. We saw what he's capable of in the AFC Championship where he went off for 201 and 4 touchdowns. I'm not saying he's going to do that every game by any means, but to see that he's capable of something like that is very, very exciting for the future. He's young. He's only 23 years old. And I mean, other guys that are being drafted near where he's at, Chris Olave, Chase Edmonds, Brandon Ayuk, Hunter Renfrow. I mean, maybe Hunter Renfrow excites you a little bit because of the PPR value, but I'd still take Gabe Davis over all of them. Easy.
Wow. Man, here's my problem with Gabe Davis. He's not had even a good regular season yet. Hasn't happened. I get it. You're planting the flag. I respect it. That's your guy. You're sticking to it. I just think that out of all those names you mentioned, I would take all of them above, except for Chase Edmonds. I would even take Olave, I think, over Gabe Davis, personally.
Doink bet?
No.
Oh, what?
No.
Brandon
No.
Ayuk? Brandon Ayuk, doink bet? Brandon Ayuk versus Gabe Davis. You know you don't want it, dude.
You know that's going to be close, right?
I know it's not.
Ayuk was just he started the year so bad.
Can we get a doink bet with points? What if Goni gave you 20 points?
I'll spot you 20
Brandon
points
Ayuk?
easy.
He'll spot you
Done.
20 points.
Done?
Brandon Ayuk done.
Yeah. I'll
So
spot you 20 points on the finish, basically. And you have Ayuk, and I have my boy Gabe Davis.
Mad Mob. We got a doink bet. We got a doink bet. Let's go. All right, so the doink bet is Begley has Brandon Ayuk plus 20 against Gabe Davis. And is this your first doink bet on Gabe Davis?
No, absolutely not.
What's your other doink bets?
I have another one against him that he finishes in the top 25 with the caveat that there was no Cole Beasley or Emmanuel Sanders.
Okay.
This is going back to last season.
All right,
I've been
so-
on him since middle of the year last year.
Listen, I guess it's my my time to pick sides. I'm going with Gabe Davis here, based solely on the fact that Brandon Ayuk absolutely sucked last year. That man was hot garbage last year.
First half of the year.
He
got
sucked.
hot.
He didn't get
got
hot. He didn't hot. He got mild. He
hot.
got very
He
mild.
got mild.
Dude, man, I had Brandon Ayuk last year. I had him. I drafted him, and I was
He picked it up late, man. He picked it up late.
Yeah, you also know that Jimmy G is not going to be the quarterback this
I know.
year.
Got Trey Lance. I know.
Do you know that Trey Lance is not going to throw for 4,000 yards this year like Jimmy did?
I know.
Do you know that Deebo Samuel still plays for the 49ers?
For now, we'll see about that.
I'm
Do you
looking.
know that George Kittle is the number 2 option and not
So
Brandon Ayuk?
when you say got hot at the end of last year, like, do you mean like the last 2 games? Because you just hated on Goni for having a bad streak of 11 weeks, and you're saying he got hot at the end of like the 2 games. The third to last game, he had 40 yards receiving. The fourth to last game, he had 36 yards receiving. When I'm looking at the end of the year, it's literally the last 2 games. He only had 1 game with over 100 yards receiving. He sucked. I had him. Look at his what?
In terms of fantasy points, look at it. Say the last 40% of the season. What kind of improvement did he have? Look at it from like game 10 on in terms of total fantasy points over weeks 1 through 9.
I mean,
I don't have that. I'm looking at his actual game stats,
No, I know.
and
I'm
it makes
saying
me
like
want to throw up.
I mean, did he have did he improve twofold?
No, what,
Bro,
No.
he put up a lot of single-digit games also.
Yes, it does, man.
He had 0 games where he had double-digit receptions. 1 game, 1 singular game where he had double-digit targets, and that double-digit target game was literally 10. He
Begs
sucked,
hates volume,
man.
though.
I hated
So
him.
It works out.
Trust me, dude. He was on my fantasy team. I was dying for him to do good, and it just never happened. And that's the reason I'm taking Gabe Davis here, because Brandon Ayuk, you burned me. You're dead to me.
I understand. I mean, look. I mean, to defend myself here. I mean, him losing Jimmy G. If you look at the numbers, I mean, that could probably only help, right?
No.
No.
I like Ayuk. I think he's talented. I like the offense. I like Shanahan. We're not sure if Debo's going to be there. You don't know about Kittle's health. I'm not as high on Gabe Davis, man. He drank the Kool-Aid. He hasn't had a good regular season yet. Not even a great one. He hasn't had a good one yet. He's going to get his chance. We'll see. And you said like they kicked Sanders and Beasley off. Dude, they were like 33, 32, 34, 35 years old, bro. They didn't.
They were blocking the pathway for him, man. They're blocking the pathway. The path is cleared.
They've retired.
The path is clear.
Yeah, path is clear. Well, again, the Bills went and got Jamison Crowder, right? Clearly, they thought their receiving core needed a little bit of help.
Well, I mean, Gabe Davis doesn't play the slot, so, somebody's got to.
Interesting. He should have had a shot last year, but they re-signed a geriatric Emmanuel Sanders.
My third guy, Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore, he was strictly a gadget guy last year. He ranked very poorly in yards per reception. I think like in the mid 100s, like 140 or something, with like 8.1 yards per. He had like less. his yards per reception was like what, 8 yards? It was something terrible. Anyways, listen, with D Hop out 6 games, the man's an absolute speed demon. Absolute speed demon. He ran a 4.3, but on top of that, the man can squat 3 times his weight. He's a monster. He was targeted 64 times, caught 54 of them. He's got a high catch percentage rate, which I understand is pretty easy when you're within, 10 yards. I think with D Hop out, he's got a good opportunity to flash his speed, to really go downfield and establish himself as a good receiver. And once you do that, more work comes your way. I mean, it's as simple as that. I don't think, and I know Begley is cringing because Begley thinks that Hollywood Brown is going to get 400 targets this year and about 398 receptions, and the only reason he didn't catch those 2 is because they were bad passes.
That's only a few more than what Goni projects for Gabe Davis.
I don't like Hollywood Brown. I mean, I think he's a back end wide receiver too. I don't think he's that dude. And that leaves more work for Rondale Moore. The dude's good. The dude's good. He's fast. Speed kills in the NFL. The man runs a 4.3. And with D-Hop gone, he's a great fill-in, at least for the first 6. He might be starting while D-Hop's gone on most fantasy rosters, depending on on how much that Cardinals offense is clicking. Because who is it? I mean, it's Rondale Moore, and it's Hollywood Brown.
AJ
Green, Zach Ertz.
I could really see Rondale
AJ Green
Moore playing
God,
in the
get out
slot.
of here, boys.
AJ Green's gonna get some shine for sure.
Ugh.
Yeah, it might not be pretty, but that's just the way that it's set up.
I think they start letting Rondale. Why in the world are they not letting Rondale Moore stretch the field? I mean,
he's little, man. He's little. I think he's more of a slot guy. He's 5'7", 5'7", 180. He's not a big boy.
But he runs a 4.3. Let him run.
I understand.
Let him get in safety territory and out of linebacker territory.
So you don't want to have more field to work with in the middle if you're just putting him in the slot and having him work?
No, I'd rather just send him downfield. Start getting him more air yards, because like Begley says, air yards directly correlates to fantasy success.
They do.
I understand, but you're not going to do that with AJ Green. You're not going to put AJ Green in the slot.
Why? AJ Green's legs are going to turn to dust if he runs over 20 yards. Might as well put him in the slot.
I don't run the offense, man. I just see it and
listen. This is my late round flyer. I'm not taking Devin Singletary's and Gabe Davis's. I'm not taking RB1s and WR2s as my late round flyers. All right, I'm taking WR3s, WR4s. RB2s, RB3. That's who I'm taking, and I'm just saying there is a clear path to where this guy can be very successful this year if used correctly.
I like the pick.
I might have to call Cliff. Let him know he's doing it wrong.
I didn't say I didn't like the pick, man. I was just saying he's not gonna. I don't think he'll be used on the outside like that. That's all. That's not saying that he can't do the things you want him to. The main thing that I see when I look at him is he just didn't get a lot of opportunity last year. Looking at his snap share, man, he only had one game that his highest was 81%. The rest of the season, he didn't have more than 61% of the snaps all year. He missed the last 3 games of the season, and they just didn't utilize him. So, I mean, I'm not dogging your pick at all. It's just they don't use him enough, and I could definitely see them using him this year. I personally think it'll be in the slot. You might think otherwise, or
when D-Hop comes back, I think he slides right back into the slot. Obviously, he's not going to take over Hollywood or DeAndre's spot outside. My thing is, I read a lot of good things about Rondale Moore off the field and his work ethic. If he gets any better, I mean, he got 64 targets on such a low snap share. There's a clear path for a 100 target season for him this year, especially with D-Hop out 6 games.
100.
Clear path. 64 targets last year, man. 64 targets last year, and he wasn't on the field hardly at all. I think he can easily get 100 targets this year with D-Hop out 6 games.
If he gets 100 targets, then that means either D-Hop. Well, I see what you're saying, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I like him, dude. I think I agree with Goni. I think he is a slot guy primarily. I think he's a gadget player. They move him all around the field. We'll do a lot of jet sweeps, that kind of stuff with him. But I mean, I like the pick.
Yeah, they got to put the ball in his hands. Got to put the ball in his hands more.
Yeah,
and I'm not denying most of his fantasy value is going to be at the front end of the season, then on the back end, obviously. But that's my guy. So we are through 3. Let me see. Who did I get? Jameis Winston, Rondale Moore, Tyler Algier. Yeah, we're halfway done, and we're 50 minutes into this podcast. Oh Lord, we're going deep. We're going deep. Beggs, give me number 4.
Man, though, just personally, I kind of like these type of podcasts better than some of the rankings. If I'm a listener, just because these are where leagues are won, in my opinion. You know what I mean? The depth. I mean, obviously, you got to nail your first pick or two to have a chance, but these are where you can really get some good advice. My fourth guy, I'm gonna look up his ADP really quick. They don't have it in front of me. Is Darrell Henderson for the Rams? Let me explain myself.
We all know you hate Cam Akers and his Achilles.
His ADP is 143.
Hates him.
I like it though. I like the pick.
He's got a clear path to some success for sure.
This guy he got hurt week 12 last year. Through week 12, he was an RB1. He's proven he can do it. He catches the ball well out of the backfield.
He was an RB1 through week 12?
Yes. He catches the ball well, goal line back. He kind of does it all. Doesn't really have a whole lot of holes in his game. Going Win, I'm gonna give you guys a challenge here. I'll have a little integrity about you.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled all the running backs who injured their Achilles for the last 10 years. Can you guys name 5 of them?
Say it again.
Who injured their Achilles?
Over the running backs who injured their Achilles the last 10 years. See if you can name 5 of them.
Marlon Mack.
Yeah.
Cam Akers.
Yeah.
Deonta Foreman.
Yep.
And then a couple scrubs, really. I'm just thinking of other scrubs.
Wayne, any guesses?
Those are just the guys that came to mind right away.
I have millions of Achilles or ACL tears in my head.
Oh, Julio Jones?
We had running backs only.
Oh, running backs only. I'm spent, bro.
Okay. I'm going to throw a few names out here. Do you guys remember Mike LaShore? Remember that name?
49ers?
I thought he was a Patriot.
Well, he didn't play.
No. Isaiah Crowell.
Oh, I remember him.
Beanie Wells from the Cardinals. You guys remember that name?
Arian Foster was definitely more relevant. He was actually a stud. Beanie Wells, I remember him coming out, though, for the Cardinals.
Yeah. These are pretty much the running backs who injured their Achilles. They all were essentially done. The only one who actually had 80 touches after their Achilles injury was a guy named Andre Brown back in 2010. Point being, Achilles injuries for running backs is a death wish. You just lose your explosiveness, man. Rams they're a zone running offense. It's a one cut. You have to be explosive to the hole. You didn't see it out of Cam Akers last year when he came back in the playoffs. Maybe he gains the trust. I'm betting that he doesn't. Give me Darrell Henderson. I think he has a chance to be the RB1, at least get 60-40, 65-35 in the offense by the end of the year.
I'm okay with that, just based on the injury perspective. I think there's so many gaps in that Achilles argument, man, because you just don't know. I don't know the age of any of those guys, or the talent that they had coming out of college. There's just so many what ifs when it comes to that argument. But as far as Darrell Henderson, he was great in Cam Akers' absence. And the Rams would be foolish just to forget that he's on the roster when Cam Akers comes back. So I like that pick for sure.
There was an independent study done from a couple MDs on Achilles injuries in NFL players, and they found across all players that there was a 23% decrease in performance. I don't know how they measured it. I didn't read everything. But a 23% decrease in performance after an Achilles injury. I'm betting on Cam Akers to seed a lot of his work this year.
That's fair. I mean, I like the pick more so because it's a great insurance pick to me.
Yeah.
It's a handcuff, whatever you want to call it. Cam Akers, we don't know what's going to happen. I chose him as my back end RB2 as the 24th, just taking a shot on him. I like the upside, but I also understand, man, we don't have really any relevant names that have ever made it out of the Achilles injury and been successful. So, I mean, like I was saying with the Cam Akers thing, they're going to give Cam Akers the ball because McVay loves him.
Sure.
But that's only going to work for so long. If you go 3-4 games or so with just feeding Cam the rock and he's averaging 2.6 yards a carry or whatever it was, like he was through the playoffs, McVay ain't going to stand for that.
Nope.
So, I mean, I like it. And like you said, Henderson was really good last year in the absence. So it's a good pick, bro.
Yeah, solid.
So, all right. My next guy up that I have is Marquez Valdez-Scantling, wide receiver for the Chiefs. He is currently being drafted at the end of the 11th, beginning of the 12th round as the wide receiver 58. So we all know Tyreek's gone. It's going to free up 159 targets this year. They still have Patrick Mahomes, right? They brought in Juju. They brought in MVS. They have Mecole Hardman. They've had Mecole for years. It's going to be his 4th year in the league. They've given him opportunities before. He hasn't really done much with them. They felt the need to go out and get 2 other wide receivers. They signed Juju to a 1-year deal for $3.25 million.
Yeah, prove it.
He's got incentives. It's a prove it deal. Another prove it deal for him. No one really wants to sign him to a long-term deal. All right, no one is convinced. He's got incentives to make it to $10 million. But they went out and they gave MVS 3 years, $30 million. So let's just follow the transactions here. Let's follow the money. And you have to think that the Chiefs believe MVS is probably going to be their guy to be the number 1 wide receiver. He's 6'4". He's really fast. He showed flashes before in Green Bay. He's never really been super consistent, but he's shown flashes of greatness here and there. Chiefs like to throw. And I mean, I just like him. I think he's going to emerge as the Chiefs' number 1 wide receiver this year. And I think he is the better pick when you're looking at other guys this late in the draft, such as George Pickens, Rashad White, Jarvis Landry, and Jacoby Myers.
Did you say number 1 wide receiver?
For the Chiefs, yeah. I think he's going to be the team's number 1.
Well, you know how much I love air yards. This guy's a pure air yards hog, right? That's what he does. I think you know what he is, right? I mean, he's played with Aaron Rodgers in a good offense. He's going to drive you absolutely crazy because 1 week he might get you 20, the next he'll get you 2. You really think he's the number 1 there in terms of fantasy points or total? In what metric is he the best? Just
I mean, the stats will lead. I mean, whether you say stats or fantasy points, the stats and fantasy points are going to correlate with each other regardless. So yeah, I think he's the number 1 wide receiver option. Obviously, I think Kelsey is going to be the man there, the number 1 passing option. But like I said, they spent the money on him. They went out, they got their guy. I don't know if it was necessarily the right guy in this wide receiver market we had, but I like him to lead the team. And yeah, I'll say that. I think he leads the wide receiver room in fantasy points come the end of the year.
Okay. I like it.
That's an interesting pick for me, and I like it. It's not interesting in terms of I don't see it. I definitely see it. MVS is a lucky guy, man. Goes from a great quarterback to a great quarterback. That rarely happens in anybody's career.
Right.
But yeah, Tyreek left a big hole in that offense that they need him to fill. But I mean, Byron Pringle's gone too. Everybody thought Byron Pringle was gonna take off for the Chiefs whenever Tyreek was gone, and then boom, he's off to the Bears. Poor guy. But the thing with Byron Pringle is he vacated 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns is a good amount for a guy that only got targeted 60 times. That's a decent amount of touchdowns that are open up. I think MVS can get some of those deep touchdowns like Byron Pringle got, and if he gets 5 of Byron Pringles and then just 3 or 4 of what Tyreek got, he's looking at a very successful year, and can definitely encroach on a back end WR2 comfortably. I like that pick a lot. I think MVS is very under the radar to be in the 11th round. I think his value is more 9th round personally. So that's a solid pick for me.
Yeah, I like it. Go. That's a good flyer. Chiefs and Dolphins. I'm excited to see Chiefs and Dolphins.
It's his latest too. I can respect it, man. The ADP for MVS is 11. He's been out here giving us top tier players for some reason in our late round flyers. I just appreciate an actual late round flyer. Thanks for giving
He finally found his way to the back of the draft.
I tell you boy.
Man, RB 37s and 32s are super early, man.
It was hard to listen to, Goni. All right, let's go with y'all know who I'm saving for last. I'm saving it last for Beggs because it's just gonna set him off. I'm gonna let him in the podcast real salty. I'm gonna go with Michael Gallup.
Love it.
Bang bang. Michael Gallup. He commanded over 100 targets in 2019 and 2020. Over 100 targets each year. Obviously was hurt last year. He's only 26. He's the clear number 2 in an extremely pass-heavy offense. Dak ranked 9th in passing with 596 attempts, and Amari Cooper accounted for 104 of those. So he's definitely going to, if healthy, again, in 2019, 2020, he got over 100 targets. 2021, he got hurt. 2022, he's healthy again. Amari Cooper's gone. He's a lock, in my opinion, for over 100 targets again. And if he can just figure out how to hold on to the ball once it hits him in the hands, the man's going to be a clear WR2. I think he can work his way up to mid-tier if the Cowboys' offense can be what they think it's going to be, a pass-heavy offense based solely on CD and Michael Gallup.
I love it, man. I mean, as Goni likes to say, you can follow the transactions. The Cowboys bet on Gallup, man. I mean, he's our clear wide receiver, too. He got paid. We chose not to go sign any big free agents as of yet. So right now, Gallup, I mean, they're betting on him. I like it.
Yeah, I like the pick as well, man. I remember back in 2019 where you thought this guy, after 2019, he finished as the wide receiver 22 on the season, and it just felt like he was going to absolutely set the world on fire. And lo and behold, though, in the next draft, the Cowboys took CeeDee Lamb, so it kind of pushed him down in the pecking order. So I think getting rid of Amari Cooper is definitely good for him. He only scored 6 touchdowns that year. He had 1,100 yards to get to wide receiver 22. I think that's definitely attainable now that he's back up to the wide receiver 2 on his own team. So
yeah,
I love the pick, especially for where you get him. I think he's got plenty of upside. Just needs to stay healthy.
Yep, agreed.
I want to say the Cowboys spent a first-round pick on Michael Gallup, too. I really want to say that. Can anybody quickly fact check me on that? So there's a lot. I know we have a lot of draft capital on him. I want to say he was a first rounder. If
Did
not,
they sign him to an extension or no?
Yeah.
Did they recently?
That's what it would have to be because he's going into his 5th year right now.
Yes.
And so it's not an option year. I'm pretty sure they did lock him up for a couple more years. This is just off the top of my head.
He signed, yeah.
Yeah, it was a 5-year. He just signed, right?
It was long term.
He was. I think it's 5-year extension that he just signed.
I should know this. Can somebody look up the?
It is a 5-year. He's signed through the 2026 season.
Yeah, he got the bag.
As far as his other transactions to get him,
what draft?
He was drafted by Dallas in round 3.
Third round. I don't know why I thought first.
I don't know. You're not a real fan.
Decent draft capital. Yeah, I don't know why I was hung up on
81 overall. Fake fan.
that. Yeah.
You need to
My
know
guy-
exactly where all of your skill players are drafted in the exact position.
Man, I know I'm disappointed in myself. I don't know why I thought that. It is 4:30 in the morning.
Honestly, Begley. Fun fact: Begley's an absolute madman when it comes to just guessing what player. No. It's a legitimate compliment.
Here comes some hate.
I could. If you are a decent NFL player, Begley probably knows where he played college ball.
Yeah.
It's a
Facts.
great talent. I mean, I want to see. I want to do it. I want to do it right now. I just want to pull out a random player and give it to him. But if he doesn't get it right, then I look stupid.
Give me 3. Try me.
Okay.
I think I can get 2 out of 3.
I'll start with somebody I already talked about. Goni, tell me if these are too easy. We'll go with LeGarrette Blount.
Oregon.
Is that too easy, Goni?
I mean, I knew that one.
Okay, yeah, that's too easy. Let's see.
I'm not a big college guy.
Rex Burkhead.
Ooh. Okay. Give me the name. I'm gonna think on that one. That's a good one.
I was gonna give you Julian Edelman, but he retired, and I think that's pretty easy too. Yeah.
Tom Brady.
Everybody, shut up.
Oh,
man.
Baby.
I need somebody. Dalvin Cook.
Florida State. No. Florida State, right?
Give him another one and all that.
Yeah. Yep. No, he's right. Florida State.
Okay.
Florida State. See what we're
Rex
saying?
Burkhead, though, man. I want to say Rex Burkhead is out of some podunk, like, I don't know why, but Rex Burkhead is taking me to UTEP.
No.
Am I close? Am I in the right geographic area?
Yeah. I think.
It's a small school, right? tiny.
No.
It's a big school.
When he played
No,
there,
it is.
Come on, dude. When he played there, it was. Meh. You're gonna know about it. We're gonna tell you, and you're gonna kick yourself over it.
I feel like I'm in the right area, man. I feel like he's in the southern. It wasn't SEC though.
Well, it's not really. I mean, Midwest.
Oh, I just found out that I share a birthday with Rex Burkhead, July 2nd.
Hang on a second. Oh, that's awesome. All right, I'll throw one more guess out there.
Huh?
I'll throw one more guess out there for Rex. We can go on for. I'm gonna say Iowa State.
Nah. Nebraska. Cornhuskers.
Nebraska. I wonder if he played running back there. If he was a convert. Interesting. That one stumped me. I'll be honest. That was a good one, Wayne.
Well, he's old, man.
He's old. I know. Well,
See,
you don't.
and I had a few, but yeah, I definitely can't give you any SEC guys. I was going to give you Sony Michel, but if it's anybody that played in the SEC in the last couple decades, and you'll snag those pretty instantly.
Okay, I'll say this. Off the top of my head, I don't know where my next guy went to college. Russell Gage. Was that a pretty good segue there? Was that clean? Like
That
As
was
a-
very nice.
As a
Let's
whistle. As a whistle. If I had a whistle soundboard thing to play right now, I'd do it.
Louisiana State, by the way.
LSU. Okay.
Oh, why'd you say that, dude?
Just because, man.
Say LSU, man. Who
Louisiana State.
who says Louisiana State when they're talking about LSU?
Hell, man.
Get out of here, man.
Louisiana State University. I like Russell Gage this year, boys. I'm not going to throw any fancy stats out at you. I'm just going to go off my gut on this one. With Godwin possibly missing a few games, kind of weaning him back into full strength. It's really him and Mike Evans, especially if Gronk doesn't play. Tom Brady, I mean, he essentially persuaded him to sign in Tampa. So Tom's got an interest in him. I think he's probably one of the better slots. I think. Obviously besides Welker and Edelman, but I think he's a great slot player. Profiled well with Ridley and Julio in Atlanta with Matt Ryan. Great passing offense. I mean, I'm taking a flyer on Russell Gage in every draft this year.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Look at what Tom Brady does with slot guys.
Yeah.
Look what he did with Scotty Miller, AB, all these random guys that they just kind of throw in between Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I don't know. I'm a Tampa guy. Tampa's my team. So I look at all the stuff. So I don't know if you've seen this or not, but Tom Brady is coming out saying Russ has to have a big year for us this year. TB said it's a very important. The slot's a very important role for an offense that throws the ball as much as we do, and when Russ is out there, there's going to be a lot of work for him. That came straight from the QB's mouth. So I love that pick. Love it. Go on.
Yeah, same, dude. I mean, the offense is just going to keep on rolling. You have Tom Brady. He's made a whole bunch of guys that weren't good look good.
Mm-hmm.
And Russell Gage is better than that. I mean, he showed out kind of last year for the Falcons for the time that he was there. The Bucks gave him 3 years, $30 million, so they believe in him enough to pay him like that. And I think he's going to be just a very safe bet, honestly, for good production, and especially where you're going to get him late in the draft. I think that it's great. Plus, we mentioned before, I'm pretty sure Wayne has as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers aficionado over here, but Evans and Godwin they don't play a whole season together. So if one of those guys goes down, Russell Gage's value shoots up dramatically.
Through the roof.
Yeah, great. It's a good insurance pick. It's a good flex play, probably on a weekly basis, man. I like it. It's a good pick, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So taking that,
Tony, who you got?
I'm going to go ahead and go into my next one. It'll be Kenny Golladay. Feels gross.
I looked at him.
Feels gross. But he's going right now in the 11th round of the draft.
For a reason.
Wide receiver 54. All right. He is the Giants' #1 wide receiver, and he is the wide receiver 54.
Yeah.
All right.
Says a lot.
I mean, the Giants gave him the bag. He didn't do great. He was in the first year of a 4-year, $72 million deal last year. He finished as the wide receiver 79, and he gave him 0 touchdowns. It's not what you're paying $18 million a year to get out of a guy like that. So they bring in Brian Dable as the head coach. He was the Bills' offensive coordinator for the last 4 years, for those of you guys who might not be familiar with him. He helped them grow into what they are today, moved Josh Allen along. What you got, Wayne?
Hey, I got to cut you off for a second. Beggs, are you snacking right now?
I'm trying to stay awake, man.
Bro, are you snacking right now?
Snacking, bro.
Oh, my gosh.
He's been snacking for the last 7 picks in a row, bro.
Goney's out here trying to give his late-round flyers, and I'm looking over at Begley just snacking. Just eating snacks,
crunching
man.
in the mic.
I apologize, Goney. Continue with what you're saying.
Man.
It's ridiculous.
Man.
Argonis, I apologize.
I was somewhere along the lines of Brian Dable molding the offense. Whatever. He's the head coach now for the Giants. Golladay, man, he's 6'4". He's a deep ball threat. He's a 50-50 ball monster. I loved him when he was with the Lions. I thought he was phenomenal, and I expected great things out of him when he came to the Giants. We haven't seen it, not going to lie. He and Daniel Jones both need to stay healthy this year. And just personally, in the 11th round, man, you're not paying a lot. I like to take the shot on a #1 wide receiver for a team. And you can honestly do worse. I mean, George Pickens, Hunter Henry, just to name a couple guys that are, in that area for where you're going to be selecting him. That's why I'll take him, really. #1 wide receiver that far back in the 11th.
I hate it, but, I mean, for a late-round flyer, I love it, I guess. It's hard to say. He's a WR1 in a terrible offense with a terrible quarterback. If from a strictly volume perspective, he definitely can add value to your team. He's a late-round flyer. You can't hate on it. He's WR1. At the point you're getting him, you got to like him. If Kenny Golladay is sitting on your bench, you ain't mad about it.
Right.
From a volume perspective, you just it's just what are the Giants going to be for me this week type of play. But, yeah, for where you're getting him, for Kenny Golladay to be a bye-week fill-in guy, I ain't mad about it.
Yeah, I don't really have any comment on him, man. I mean, I'll let Goney take the chance on him. He is a good flyer. I mean, he's just got to stay healthy, man. He's hurt all the time.
Yep. Hey, man.
It's fair.
Yeah, that whole offense just needs to stay healthy, but you can't dog it. You can't dog it because it's a late round flyer, and
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with where Goney's picking them. I mean,
I feel like we have to talk ourselves into not dogging.
yeah, because they're
Kenny
late round flyers. They're late round. It's hard to dog late round flyers because that's their purpose. But he's a WR1 in an NFL offense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
He
it doesn't
deserves a
feel
roster
great,
spot.
But you find the value by if they outperform their ADP. That's a win. There's not 53 other guys, in my opinion, that are going to outperform him. Is there?
Does he end up the best wide receiver on the Giants this year in terms of total fantasy points?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who else? Sterling Shepard.
Him or Tony?
Oh dang, I don't have to do that anymore. Hang on.
Or who? Tony? Did you say Tony?
Yeah. Matt's his only
he's raw and he has the upside. It's just we'll see. I think the volume is going to win out for Galladay.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right, my number 5. I think y'all are going to like this one. We've talked about him before, but his ADP is back there. I'm not sure. Well, obviously we know why. I got Alexander Mattison. My favorite handcuff. Not one of them. He's my favorite handcuff.
Love him.
He averaged 105 yards per game when Dalvin Cook did not play. The Vikings committed. They're committed to both running backs. In my opinion, this could be another Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt type of duo this year. Listen, they've got it's Alexander Madison's contract year, right? Am I correct in that?
You are.
They got Dalvin Cook for another 3 years. They got a blackout term, little inside joke. They got to preserve the merits. You know what I'm saying? They got to preserve Dalvin Cook. They got to make sure he's going to last. I think they split a lot of carries this year. Dalvin Cook is the work. When I say split, calm down, Goney. Dalvin Cook is the workhorse. He's definitely. I've got. What did I have him as a top 5 running back?
Yeah, I think you and I had them both up at like 4.
So
Crazy.
yeah, let me reel back. When I say split carries, I don't mean it's going to be a Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt situation exactly, or a Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams type of deal. I just think Alexander Mattison is used more in the offense, whether that's Dalvin Cook being schemed more for the passing game, which I also think is going to happen, and another reason I had him ranked so high in my running back rankings. I just don't think he's relegated completely to injuries. I think he's used a little bit more. He's not worth a start while Dalvin Cook is playing, in my opinion. But if Dalvin Cook goes down, this man's an RB1. Period.
Man, I love Madison. I love him more in Dynasty. I think I do redraft. I actually tried to get him in our Dynasty league, but the guy wouldn't come off of him. But I like it, man. I mean, I think he's shown talent when he's had the opportunity. He's just stuck behind Dalvin.
Yeah, 105 yards per carry without Dalvin. My thing too is
that's a lot of yards per carry, bro.
per carry.
Holy crap!
He's a beast. He's pretty much the best. And just give him the ball; it's a touchdown. The Vikings have the 20th ranked strength of schedule this year. That's a lot of running. I just think in the games where they're just running to preserve the clock, I think they're just going to start just feeding Alexander Mattison a little bit more just to preserve Dalvin Cook.
I think that's fair.
Not much. And again, he doesn't warrant a start ever if Dalvin Cook is playing, but his injury upside is better than any other running back in the NFL.
Yeah, he's a handcuff, man. He's probably, people would argue it's either him or Tony Pollard. We've seen, I mean, Dalvin Cook hasn't played a full season ever. So we've seen Alexander Mattison shine a little bit. Tony Pollard Zeke hardly ever misses games. The man was playing on a torn PCL last year and was still sitting like out there on the field, trudging, taking carries. So we haven't really got to see what Tony Pollard can do while he's carrying all the duties. So for me, Alexander Madison is definitely the better of the two. And like you said, man, when he's out on the field, he's great. I do think Dalvin Cook is going to continue to be the focal point of the offense.
100%.
But they just run so well. Alexander Madison can catch out of the backfield. He can run. He can hit the holes. He's good. He can do it all, and I like the pick also.
Split carries was bad terminology. I didn't,
No, we know what you meant.
Oh, yeah, we know what you meant.
I could see them. I agree with you on that. I think we can see them use Madison more to salt away some of the games where they have the lead, like you mentioned. I could see it there.
Trudging is the best way to describe whatever Zeke did last year. Nice
Torn
word.
PCL, man. Tear your PCL
Look
one
like-
time and see how you trudge.
He looked like he had tied a 45-pound plate to a chain and wrapped that around his waist all year.
Man, what's that say about the rest of the league since he finishes like the RB6 or RB7?
Zeke
Pretty wild,
is
huh?
getting hate, boy. Zeke is getting hate, and he's been fine.
Because he
He
didn't destroy the world. He didn't scorch the earth to everyone's liking, and he finished as a mere RB6 or 7 last year on a torn PCL. Shame on you.
He gets a lot of passing work, and he is the goal line back.
He's reverse
you know-
jinxing. I got it. I got your picks.
No. Listen, it's an eye test play. Zeke did not look right last year.
It makes sense because he had a torn PCL.
I know, but what I'm telling you is he trudged on it. He looked terrible.
Oh my God, he wasn't shifty. He wasn't making those cuts on his bum knee. Man, how dare he?
I
He's
would
washed.
trade Michael Thomas straight up right now.
What's that?
Said I'd consider trading him for Michael Thomas straight up right now. It's a
You're
win-win.
wild. You're absolutely wild.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's 7 wall, man.
What a Cowboys!
27.
What a Cowboys fan to say.
The RB7 last year. He's never finished worse than the
Disrespectful.
RB13 in his career.
It's
I'm
disrespectful.
not trading him in a fantasy perspective. I'm talking in a real life situation. If Dallas were to flip Zeke for Michael Thomas with the Saints, I would think that's a win for Dallas.
Goni, let me offend some people really quick. Well, you know how I feel about the fantasy, community. If you get offended easily at this kind of stuff, then you're just soft. Who has the worst fan base in sports? Is it Alabama? Is it Ohio State? Is it Cowboys? Is it Knicks?
Oh, like
Lakers?
the most unbearable fan
Yeah.
base?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be the Cowboys.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about
Sure.
all these people, and I'm fine with like Ohio States don't bother me, the Dukies don't bother me, the Cameron Crazies don't bother me. It's them Cowboys fans, man. America's team.
Yeah.
America's team.
It's because
and that's not my team.
If we break it down, it's not my team either. The Patriots are the real America's team. Let's be real.
They're not.
But anyways, Alabama backs it up. Ohio State backs it up. The Cowboys show up for, 12 weeks during the regular season. They get to the playoffs and they pack up and go home.
Man,
Ohio
definitely,
State doesn't think that.
definitely
They
the most unbearable fan base, and I stand by it.
It's
Hey,
Ohio-
man, Ohio State has won in the playoffs over the last 10 years. How about that?
Oh man. Hey, and listen, Cowboys fans, don't just turn it off and get mad. We've got a Cowboys fan. Support your Cowboys fan in here. He's getting tag teamed. Drop a comment and let me and Goni know how we're wrong, and then I'm gonna immediately comment back saying how wrong you are, and it's fine.
Yeah. You can tell me the Patriots suck too. I know there's a lot of haters out there.
Well, since Cowboys are America's team, I'm sure there are quite a few fans.
All
Come across.
bandwagons.
Man, Zeke just infuriating to watch last year. Let's just put it that way. He looked like he was 15 pounds overweight. all
Listen,
year.
we just
He had a bum knee.
He's
What
just
don't
not
you
getting
get?
it. What a Cowboys
don't-
fan! What a Cowboys fan! Just ignoring facts. Just ignoring the fact that the man had like an injury.
Just don't play. Sit out.
He was the RB6.
No, I understand that. I'm talking about from a real life perspective. Sit
We don't
out for
care
a
about the real life perspective. We care about the fantasy.
Yeah, you want
This
him
is
to play
Mad
for
Fantasy Football Podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I
Dummy?
don't understand. You think because he's a professional athlete, he should be running at peak performance at all times, even though his
No.
ligaments are torn?
What I'm
Torn
saying
ligaments.
What I'm saying is, with the way the Cowboys started the year last year, we could have afforded to have Zeke miss a few games. Pull a Kawhi Leonard, rest your body, come back healthy.
But he outperformed every other running back in the league aside from 5 or 6 others. Bro, let me and Wayne come over and give you a dead leg in each of your legs, and you run across your yard and see how good you look.
Well, if you shoot me up with Toradol and give me morphine, sure, I can do
You'll
anything.
fall flat on your face, man.
I'll run through a wall like the Juggernaut, man.
Hey,
All right,
You
listen.
might fall through a wall like the Juggernaut. You ain't running through nothing.
My number 6 guy, my favorite.
good segue, man.
My favorite. He's a guy I have to have this year. I've actually got him on one of my rosters. I'm super, super high on him. Have to have him. His ADP is absurdly low. I think it's 148. Let me just triple check that really quick. Should have had that ready. Start talking about Zeke. 141 is his ADP. And that is Nyheim Hines of the Colts. In the offseason, Chris Ballard, the Colts GM, and Frank Reich both came out independently and said, we got to get this guy the ball. Frank said he'd like to have him catch the ball about 60-plus times this year, which has me excited, which is pretty in line with what he did in 2020 with Phillip Rivers. He had 63 catches on 76 targets, finished as RB15 in PPR. Even finished as RB24 in standard. He is a pure scat back. I think he is an elite receiver. He was kind of shoved out of the offense last year with Carson Wentz, who just threw the ball downfield, did not really check it down much. I think this guy's going to get a lot of opportunity with Matt Ryan. You saw what Matt Ryan did with Cordell Patterson last year. I love Nyheim Hines. Absolute must-draft for me.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all, especially with Matt Ryan coming to town. I know Wayne mentioned, I think, on one of our running back shows that it's just the curse of the old statue quarterbacks where they just chuck it to the running back just repeatedly. They're not mobile anymore, so they just throw it there. You've seen it with Roethlisberger, Matt Ryan, Eli Manning.
If there's a sniff of a sack, he's shovel passing that thing out of there.
Dumping it off. So, I mean, I like it. The PPR value is way high. You're getting them super late. Yeah, I mean, that's really all I have to say about that.
I love him. 60 catches is a lock for top 24. It's a lock.
Ugh. I don't know, man. I don't think he has the rushing numbers to support that.
Okay.
That's just me. I think 36 is attainable, but I don't know about 24. That's just me, though.
On 60 catches?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
He's not going to get any rushing work. He's going to get no rushing work.
Yeah, he's not going to break 600-700 yards and have, 3. He's not going to have like any rushing touchdowns either. He might have a couple, but he's not going to sniff 1,000 yards rushing with those 60 catches. That's all. He's not Austin Eckler, bro. Even Austin Eckler hits 59 yards a game rushing.
All right. Love Nyheim Hines. Love him.
That's fair.
Not a bad pick. I like it.
All right,
He's
so
not
I'll
sniffing
go
top
ahead.
24 ever, but go ahead.
I mean, he did 2 years ago, so. Go ahead, go.
In the future. We're not worried about 2 years ago. So I'm not going to sniff it again. Go ahead, go.
Fair enough. Robert Tonyan. Robert Tonyan is my last pick here.
Daggone it, man.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
Because I was saving a tight end for last. Now I look like I'm swagger jacking.
Yes. Got there. Let's go. He's currently going at the end of the 13th, early 14th round. He's the tight end 21 right now, according to the ADP. All right. Devontae Adams leaves town. We all know. Breeze up 169 targets, boys. They have Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, and Sammy Watkins as their passing options. That's all I have to say about that is, like, Rodgers, he trusts Tonyan, especially near the end zone. We've seen Tonyan be productive before. He finished as the tight end 4 2 years ago, scoring 11 touchdowns. I mean, He tore his ACL last year mid-season, but he looks like he's probably going to be back for week 1. He's recovering nicely. The offense is still going to be in good hands. Aaron Rodgers still a quarterback. He's going to spread the ball around. They're still going to like to throw. And I think Tonyan can be a top tight end for super cheap. So I like him. If you're just loading up on running back and wide receiver depth through all these middle rounds and you forget about the tight end and stuff, I think he's an excellent late round pick to be an every week starter for you.
What Tonyan did 2 years ago is better than anything Gabe Davis has done in his professional career.
Man, always looking to hate on Gabe Davis.
More opportunities, so it makes sense.
We're talking about
more
tight
time
ends.
on the field, man.
We're talking about tight ends. He's got to bring Gabe Davis into this.
I know.
Listen,
Just
Zeke
throwing
had a
punches.
torn PCL. Let it go, man.
The hatred. Why does he hate every player that I love?
No, I don't. I don't go. I'm with you on Mike Williams.
Which is surprising. He typically always agrees with you.
I do. I'm normally Team Goney through and through, man. I'm not there on the Gabe Davis love. Not quite yet.
I love how you compared an offense where only one tight end runs out and catches passes to an offense where 3, sometimes 4 wide receivers run out and catch passes.
Throwing a lot of shade at Mercedes Lewis there, man.
Yeah, he's not good. He was drafted a long time ago to the Jaguars to be great, and he never got there.
Never
Got there.
Mercedes.
Yeah.
I like it, Goni, but it's hard to think Robert Tonyan's going to do a lot when Aaron Jones is out here winning the MVP for all the offensive work he's getting.
And AJ Dillon apparently running for 1,000 yards.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
No, Beggs did.
I know
though.
Beggs
He
said it. I know Beggs said it.
He is a possibility.
You have Aaron Jones for MVP. Beggs has AJ Dillon for MVP and Pat Fryermuth for MVP.
Fryermuth.
Man,
Pat Fryermuth.
there's only one award, man.
We talked about it before the podcast. Honest question. You say Tonyan, the fact you have him on this list means you think he could be a top 12
I do.
tight end. So you're saying that would you be comfortable drafting Tonyan as your only tight end?
Yeah, I mean, if you're drafting him in the 13th or 14th, then yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I'd be down with that. Me personally, when I've been drafting recently, I've done two startups here. I aim for Dalton Schultz, but if I don't get him, Cole Kmet's a guy I go for, and Robert Tonyan is another I go for.
Pass on Cole Kmet, man. Justin Fields effect. Wayne, are you happy with Robert Tonyan being your starting tight end?
I'm not happy with it. I'm not pissed off because the only reason he's my starting tight end is because I found great value in other positions to pass on tight
Depth,
ends.
man. Depth, yeah.
I'd rather have depth at wide receiver than I'm the type of guy that if I don't have that specific spot in the draft to get a Travis Kelce or Dalton Schultz or George Kittle or,
Andrews.
Kyle
elite.
Pitts.
Man, I had a thought.
Then
You know what we should have started this episode with? I'm sorry to cut you off, Wayne.
no, you're not.
Have you guys listened to the new Drake album? It is atrocious.
It's awful. It's awful.
I have not.
Save yourself.
Man, this is tired Beggs coming in. Boy, hey, we're almost. It's just me left. I just got one player, and we're done, man. You can go to sleep. I agree, though. The Drake album sucked. Let me go. I have a tight end following it up. Cole Kmet.
Oh, let's go.
I think he's got a clear-cut move to top 10 tight end value. Ain't nobody on that squad, boys, except for Darnell Mooney. Nobody. You Canadimus St. Brown? I'm tired. I can't pronounce it, man. Y'all know what I'm talking about. This guy was number 8 in targets last year. Number 8 in targets. Number 12 in yards. Number 12 in receptions. Number 6 in snap share among tight ends. Finished 20th. Man didn't see a touchdown. Saw 0 touchdowns. That's rare. And the thing is,
Justin Fields under center, bro.
Justin Fields is he's progressing. He's progressing. I mean, that's a fact. There's touchdowns that he's gonna get next year. His target share is gonna go up next year. His receptions are gonna go up next year. And he was already tight end, a tight end one in all those categories, and his 0 touchdowns brought him down. He's gonna score those touchdowns. I think he moves up. He could easily move up into top 10 status. He's played 2 seasons and he hadn't missed a game. And a little stat. I dug a little deep because you hate Cole Kmet, so I knew I was going to have to come with my claws out. The tight end strength of schedule for the Bears is number 1.
Wow, that's solid. That's
he
good
faces the easiest strength of schedule for tight ends next year.
That's good info. He's the perfect example of why of the saying, not all targets are created equal. 93 targets, and he was tight end 21 PPR. Had almost 100 targets.
Here's my
He
thing
scored
too.
no touchdowns.
It's all he was top. He was a tight end 1 in every category except he didn't score any touchdowns, which brought him down.
Bro, Kyle Pitts scored 1 touchdown last year. It happens. These things happen. For him to be in his second year and not have the draft capital of Kyle Pitts and get 93 targets, young tight ends in their first couple of years suck.
And here's my thing too.
They suck.
And here's my thing too. The Bears drafted 4 offensive linemen this year. 4. I think the earliest was 4th. It was multiple 4ths or multiple 5ths, and then a 6th or something like that. But they went out and absolutely just got as many offensive linemen as they could to try and just bolster it.
He got 17 less targets than Kyle Pitts and 55 less fantasy points. And Pitts had 1 touchdown. It's just the quality of targets. They suck. They're awful.
Bro, Kyle Pitts is also a freak athlete. Come on now.
Go.
What do you mean?
Kyle Pitts.
What was that
Kyle
look
Pitts,
for? Kyle Pitts is a generational tight end.
Kyle Pitts is all of our top 3. I'm
For
saying
those
Cole
of you
Kmet can be
listening,
a
he
10.
just gave me the "what you talking about, Willis" look when I said he and Kyle Pitts are drastically different.
Sure they are, but what I guess the point I gave
This is my guy. I'm gonna cut you off. This is my point. If you have to bring in a consensus across every expert that's ever existed, top 3 tight end, to battle against my late round flyer in Cole Kmet, then I'm winning.
Right.
Then I'm winning. I'm right. Cole Kmet top 10. Lock it in. You had to bring Kyle Pitts to this battle.
In the history of ever in a dynasty draft, how many teams have you seen a tight end go in the top 5, top 3? I've seen him go as high as 3.
In a rookie draft or just dynasty overall?
Yeah, dynasty rookie draft.
Oh, never.
Never. That's what I'm saying. Kyle Pitts is a generational talent.
And he had to bring Kyle Pitts to this argument to fight off Cole Kmet. So, Mad Mob, that should tell you everything you need to hear.
The lengths of hatred this man will go to right now.
I hope Justin Fields sets the world on fire next year. I hope he absolutely goes off.
Shame on me for that. I guess, hang on. Let me go look at tight end 22. I guess compare him to him.
Bro,
that's more.
He had 93 targets last year. He's going to get plenty of targets. He might have over 100 this year. Riddle me this, yes or no? Justin Fields will score more passing touchdowns this year than he did last year. Yes or no?
That's incredible. That is incredible, Wayne. Get this guy on board. Just beautiful things happen. Goni, I'll be honest with you, man.
7 passing touchdowns.
Well, I mean, he split so much time with Dalton. I mean, it'll have to go up.
He didn't.
I mean, Dalton played what, 4 or 5 games? I know.
Dalton played 5 games. 6 maybe 6 games.
Okay.
Dalton played last year.
Fields will play those 6 this year. It'll be Fields' show this year. He'll have the keys.
No, I'm saying Andy Dalton only played 6 games last year. The rest of it was Justin Fields.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Fields will have more passing touchdowns because he'll play all 17 instead of 11 this year.
Okay.
Point.
So let's just do quick math and extrapolate that. He scored 7 passing touchdowns in what is it? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 games.
Mhm.
So we'll call it. Will he have more than 13 passing touchdowns this year? You're taking way too long. The answer is yes.
Goni, he's bad.
The
bro.
answer is yes.
No, hang on, Goni. Dibs. Does he have more than 13 passing touchdowns this year? Yes or no?
I have to think about that one.
Yes or no?
But
No, we'll wait because this is I'm literally got my finger over the trigger on a doink bet. Does he have more than 13 passing touchdowns this year?
Choose carefully, and then we're gonna move the bar if you say yes.
Listen, he's an avid Justin Fields hater, so this should be a snap call for him. But for some reason, there's a lot of thought going into it.
I've never.
Well,
Are you this out on Trevor Lawrence?
13 pat. I would say he would be more on par with what Jalen Hurts did last year. You take that up to 16, and you got yourself a bet.
This guy.
Jalen Hurts threw 16 last year.
Okay, so his passing touchdowns go up immensely. He throws at least a touchdown every game. You don't think Cole Kmet snags some? You think Cole Kmet gets 0 of those? And out of all the weapons that the Bears offense has, you think that there's 16 passing touchdowns and Cole Kmet doesn't get any of them?
Let's do some math here. So he was averaging about 0.7 touchdowns a game. You said immensely. 16 touchdowns in 17 games is an average of 0.9. That's not immensely. But do I think he gets one? I mean, yeah, he might snag one. His offense isn't going to score a lot of points. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know.
Justin Fields, please, absolutely just set the world on fire. I'm even on record saying I don't love Justin Fields, but I'm the biggest Justin Fields fan this next year.
Beggs, 25% isn't immense to you?
Duh, Bears.
You said it was 0.7 to 0.9. That's 0.2, which is basically 25%.
No, I don't.
You're a numbers guy.
Hit you with that math, boy.
No.
Line scabs.
I don't think that's immense. I would
25% of anything would be immense. If I told you Tom Brady was going to have 25% more yards, you would crap your pants.
Well, yeah, but that's a little different number. That's apples to oranges there. You're talking about touchdowns? It's
numbers of numbers, man. Numbers of numbers.
They're not going. They're not. They're different.
You're just hating on Justin Fields. I don't understand why you're hating on Justin Fields so much. Are you this out on Trevor Lawrence, who was terrible as well?
Garbage.
I think he's better than Justin Fields.
So how good of a year is Trevor Lawrence going to have then? Who had way better draft capital, by the way.
Oh, sure. Number 1 pick. I mean, I don't know, man. I'd say Fields. I'd say Lawrence is probably going to be around the same touchdown mark as Fields. You know, that is high teens.
He scored 12 last year, and he had 17 interceptions.
It was bad, right?
Trevor Lawrence.
Fields has that young quarterback problem of scrambling too soon instead of staying in the pocket, and it really cost him. It's ugly.
He's learning the game. I feel like you are writing him off way too soon. And he actually did better at the end of the year when he started scrambling more. It's good for him. It's helpful. It's gonna help win him games.
No. He scrambles to run. He doesn't scramble to throw. That's a young quarterback problem.
Yeah, and
those guys don't test in the NFL.
And that's the point of improving. If he improves at all, he's got the arm strength to be great. He's got the legs to be great.
Be great? No.
Yeah.
Listen, if Justin Fields is a Pro Bowler, I will. I don't even. It's too late for me to think of something creative right now, but I would put.
It is too late. Listen, Mad Mob. It's now 5:05 a.m. This episode has now gone on for an hour and 40 minutes. Over an hour and 40 minutes. I wish quality's going down. I wish I had a movie off the top of my head that runs about an hour and 40 minutes. Anybody? Nothing? Nobody else can help me with that?
Oh, I don't even know, man.
What
Okay.
about
I was looking at the light glistening off of Beggs' dome right here. Look at
Man,
him.
he has been. That's the only reason I'm still awake is I'm been blinded by Begley's forehead this entire episode.
Well,
But we essentially gave you a movie's length worth of content. Please subscribe. We'd appreciate it.
Please hook it up.
Follow. We're here for you. We're gonna do another Q&A podcast. Is that gonna be posted on Sunday?
it's up to you, man. You're going out of town, tech guy.
I'll try and make it work. I'll try and make it work for Sunday. Are we gonna do another episode for Wednesday? A hot takes ish episode.
Yeah, I'm down. I think Fields making a Pro Bowl should be the first one we talk about.
Agreed. Gabe Davis will be there as well. Cole Kmet definitely will be.
Zeke,
Yeah.
probably Zeke as well.
Zeke definitely with his fully healed ligaments. All right,
Look.
Mad
Yeah.
Mad
baby.
Mob. We appreciate y'all listening. We are on Spotify, Samsung, Google, Apple, the whole shebang. We are on YouTube. The YouTube percentage is getting a little bit better. We're still over 80% in unsubscribed viewers, so we would greatly appreciate it if you can hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the content, we now have as of this week, we have a Facebook page. Look for us, Mad Fantasy Football Podcast. Please like it. Leave your questions on the page, and we will answer those there as well. We are on Reddit, mad_ff_podcast on Reddit. You can email us, madffpodcast@gmail.com. Guys, we greatly appreciate y'all, and we will see you next time.
Thanks, man. Mom.
Good evening.